All right, so we are recording. Welcome, y'all. And I know that some of y'all were waiting. Thank you so much for waiting. If you would please take a moment to either click on or actually, Claire, are you able to use the chat and drop the links in for everyone?
Yep.
Oh, you've been doing that.
I've dropped it in,
awesome.
but I'll do it again in case anyone just joined.
Awesome. So thank you all for coming out. I'm watching the people come in too as well, so I'll be rolling with that. So welcome. Thank you for just joining us this evening and learning about an exciting opportunity that we have for your students. And so we have a great thing tonight that we're going to share, and it's very exciting. So if you would please, for those who just came in, go ahead and pull up the QR, use your QR code here at the bottom right, or you can use the link in the chat. Claire from EF, she's a wonderful assistant tonight. She's going to be joining us and helping with the chat and kind of monitoring the chat and seeing, if you have a question or something that just comes up, you can put it in the chat. Otherwise, you can also put them in the QR link for signing in. They're pretty good about compiling everything and sharing that out. And I'll hold questions until the very end. And so, so you see a hand up. Is it Haresh? I'm not sure. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll still have some people coming in. I want to let them in. So welcome everyone and future travelers. So just make sure that FYI for those just came in, we are recording. Keep your cameras on, or you can have them off, whichever you feel most comfortable. Totally fine if you have them off. Please mute your mics and sign into the QR code. So why we are all here. So let's go to Germany and Italy together. Let's see what it has in store for STEM students. So it's a very amazing tour. Just right up front, this is something that, although Fort Bend ISD schools are doing together, this is actually not Fort Bend ISD. It's not a Fort Bend ISD sponsored trip, which is great because we have really full reins, and working with EF, that's a really great thing to have. So welcome, and this is the Germany and Italy tour for 2023. So what we're going to cover tonight, here's a very brief overview. We're going to cover safety and our EF partnership, travel plans, the itinerary. We're going to get into the details, what we'll be doing. We'll also look at what students gain from travel, what's all included, which is a lot. It's very extensive. I have a full list for you, and what's not included, price, dates, to mark your calendar for tour, and some other details, and also enrolling tonight and submitting questions through the sign-in on the QR code or the bit.ly link. Okay, so why plan? Why are we planning so far out to 2023? Well, let's face it, we've gone through a lot since 2020. There's been so much change, and the world we live in is pretty much, it's changed a little bit. So going back to something that we're familiar with, travel, and something to look forward to in the future. That's something that we've all been doing our part, hopefully, and staying healthy and doing what we need to do to take care of ourselves. So let's look forward to something here. And it's also a chance to reconnect to the world, because we haven't traveled. We've been cooped up. We've been restricted in so many ways that we want to reconnect with the world that we're used to. So, those are the big things that come to mind for me. So the other thing we'll talk about too is spread payments over a longer period of time. So 2023 is a further distance out. So that's very helpful for a lot of people. And also to take advantage of EF's risk-free 100% money back enrollment period, as well as a $200 scholarship applied to it for early enrollment. So someone asked, who are you? Who is this guy talking? My name is Darren Humes. I'm Mr. Humes, sometimes called Professor Humes. Sometimes I'm called Coach, although I'm not really a coach. I do coach robotics. We do a lot of cool things in engineering, but that's really about it. So I obviously have an engineering and robotics program at Clements. I've done a lot of travel. I've traveled with students all over the nation, all over the world, competing, learning about STEM, really getting the best of everything around the world concerning STEM. So that's what I'm about. I'm about exposing kids to the world where it's their playground, and it's just the experience that they gain from it, and the just how they grow is really beyond anything that I've seen when it comes to travel. So here's some, like I said, I've been all over the world with kids. Here's just a few things that I've done with kids here. Most of these, let's see here, the top left, we're on a ski lift in the Swiss Alps. We're actually hiking in the bottom left corner here in the Swiss Alps. And look, I'm telling you, kids brighten up with snow. I was telling another parent here, would you ever go back? Do you miss snow? No, I don't miss it, but I'll travel in it. I'll have a snow fight with kids, my students, and so that's cool. But more importantly, though, yeah, that's really cool. But what they learn and take home is just, it's life changing. It really cracks them out of their shell, and it really brings them to life into another light that they may not have ever had or had the opportunity to grow in without something like this. So in international trips have a certain element to them that I don't fully understand, but it just has a way of cracking kids open and exposing them to the world. We've been to England, obviously Swiss Alps and Switzerland, and this giant glacier. That was fun. We literally ran around a glacier. It was very slippery, but very cool. We learned about the impacts of environments and what we as humans can do to mitigate some of that. Up at the top center, we were in a sustainable living sustainable greenhouse. Basically, it's a huge place in England that it's the biodomes. They're really cool. They're just something that you have to go there and see it, right? And then we're in Berlin checking out all kinds of design stuff. And look, all these are great things. And on an itinerary, it looks like a task, but really, it's way more than that. It is far more about the kids growing and learning about STEM and engineering all around them, and really just having an amazing time. And there's other opportunities along with it. So I think I saw some of my oh, there's one, the first one up. I know I saw Mr. Lamb in the room. So Mr. Lamb, feel free to
Hi
introduce
guys.
yourself.
So I don't have a picture like Darren. My trip with the kids are several years back. So I don't have digital picture. I have actually copy print picture. So that's I did as a teacher. I went on for different trip with EF, and I do have background traveling with student, and it was wonderful. Is my first trip is actually right at the beginning of Iraq War. So I still have student able to travel to Europe then. But as you know, many of you are part of my academies in Fort Bend. And several years ago, I really thought about travel and how we get our kids out of Houston, Texas, and just really get them to see what's going on with STEM around the globe. I think that's something that that will benefit our kids greatly, to understand that here opportunity exists, but also many other opportunity exists, and many learning opportunity for them outside of the United States. So and that's why I really want to work with Darren and EF to kind of figure out how do we offer these opportunities to some of our kids. I for 10 years been a school administrator at T.H. Rogers for another 10 years, and then as your academy coordinator. This is going my third year. It just seemed longer than that. But it's been great. It's been great. Like many of you tonight, I do have three. My little one, they're much older. They were much cuter when they were little. Now they're teenagers, so it's a little harder to deal with. But all three of mine are at Clemens this year. And they had, they did not want to be anyone near daddy and do anything with the academy. So I definitely understand that, as I also grew up in a two-parent household who were teacher too. So that I remember that was pretty tough, having your parents around your school. Again, and I think Darren have touched on how transformative of how some of our kids who might be little in their shell and they're able to travel. And I always tell parents, traveling with parent is a little bit different than traveling with your peers. It's very different. I think most of us take our kid on vacation, have the fortune and even do international traveling, but that's a very different type of traveling. I just seen the kids are able to go when they travel with their peers, they grow so much in terms of the confidence, kind of ideas that they have when they get back. And that's the one big thing about traveling that I see. But of course, again, like Darren would say, is the impact that this trip really have on the kids. And a lot of my kids that I took traveling before I done the 4th trip, most of my kids never been outside of Texas. And now, gosh, they're probably in their 30s now, but I still have in contact with them. But they are frequent traveler now because they finally understand that the war is just bigger than Houston, bigger than Texas, or bigger than the United States, that they want to see more of the war and learn. And in learning part of it, traveling is probably the best part as a teacher too, is teaching through traveling for me, and for kids, definitely learning through traveling too. All right, Darren.
All right. Hey, is Miss Matthews in the house? I don't know if I saw her come in. I hope she's here.
Hi, we are here. Actually, I'm also with Ms. Cox. We're both from Dulles. Hi.
Hi. Can y'all see us both? Okay, I think we're both.
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay. Hi. So this is Kristen Matthew, and I'm Katie Cox. We're both teachers that are going to be traveling, hopefully with EF. Miss Matthew.
I'm one of the group leaders, and I'm kind of excited to help the kids and kind of have them experience, like Mr. Lamb said, having to travel with their peers versus their parents. I think it's a completely different experience that they get, being able to appreciate the education part of it as well as the just having fun with it, So.
Yeah. And I'm Katie Cox. We both teach AP Bio at Dulles. I'm excited to go back to Europe. I haven't been to Europe since I was 22. You guys can guess how long ago that was. But I'm just very excited to look at the engineering and technology advances that these other countries have with automotive stuff. It all looked very interesting to me. So thanks for having us.
Cool. Thanks for making it here. Let's see. Is Miss Robinson in the house?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Ah, there we go. Hello, how are you? I'm Miss Robinson, and I'm at Dulles High School, and I am the engineering teacher here at Dulles. And I'm just really excited about, of course, the experiences, because we're always talking about how technology is changing and the differences between what we see and have and experience over here in the U.S. versus in other parts of the world. I've actually traveled before, especially to Europe, and but I haven't been back in a while, so it'll be exciting to make it back across the pond.
Very cool. All right. Thank you. Hey, Miss Edwards, I think I saw you on your phone. Maybe.
No, you did not.
Oh, I didn't? Oh, okay. I saw, maybe it was a different Erica. I saw an Erica with an iPhone come in. Maybe that was not. Okay, maybe it was me.
Okay, inside joke. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Edwards, and I'm one of the Engineering Academy instructors at Elkins High School. That's making my 4th year there. I'm loving it, loving every minute of it. Celebrating 19 years in the district as an engineering educator. And so I'm excited. I don't have as much experience in travel as Darren and well, Mr. Hughes and Mr. Lamb, some others that have been represented before me. but I am equally excited to be a part of this venture. I'm sure it will be something that we can all take into our bosom and reflect on it, and maybe go into these different enhancements. Like once for the students, they can increase their curriculum levels by educational travel. They can see the museums and the cathedrals firsthand instead of looking at it in a textbook like they would normally be introduced to it. It also brings the material off the pages and into reality, allowing the students to connect a better, stronger connection in a meaningful way. Also, a cultural learning experience can come from that. They can also probably find a number of cultural similarities that they may have with other people in other countries that they may thought that were much different, but they're really similar in a lot of ways. And of course, we will love the way they live their lives. There may be similar ways and maybe a little different in the way that they greet one another and so forth. And then the last and final thing I guess I can look at is the better classroom experiences. We were going to be just like a 9-day tour, I'm assuming, 9-day, maybe 9-night, 10-day tour. So that is allowing both teachers and students to bond with one another on a closer level, otherwise, as opposed to being in the regular school forum of, early in the morning, 7:30 to 2:45, or however the time allots them if they're in other programs or whatnot. But it invites to a better classroom experience for the students and the atmosphere, and it can be a recipe for a deeper learning long after the educational trip is over. So basically put, I'm extremely elephant happy and hippopotamus excited to be a part of this. And I'm looking forward to what it's going to bring both for me as a teacher and the students as a whole.
Awesome. And we have Miss Adams, I believe, is up next. Yeah, Miss Adams. You're in the house. Is she here? I don't know if I saw her.
I think she might not be here.
Yeah, I don't see her. Well, Miss Adams is another teacher at Elkins, also with the academy. So she's going to be one of the chaperones and leads there, and is now John is he might be driving home, but John Ramon, are you on the call? If you're not able to answer, that's totally fine, because I think he's actually driving home from work.
So this is Dr. Ramon. Dr. Ramon is he is the he's the science teacher at Hightower High School. So he definitely, a lot of our teachers at Hightower who's in the Medical Science Academy have him. So he's looking forward to travel too. I know he's probably driving home right now in traffic.
That makes sense. Yeah, he told me he was running a little bit late. So, all right, y'all. Thank you all for the intros. We obviously have a solid team. We have a very compassionate team here at Fort Bend. I've worked with pretty much everybody. I'm familiar with everybody here on our team, so it's great. Here's some things though. So we won't be planning alone. We actually have EF that has our back. We work with them. They're really awesome to work with. I've actually flown out. They flew me out to Boston for, you might have heard about the Japan tour. That basically booked out. We have, it basically filled up. And so they flew me and several other teachers out there to actually develop something like this. And this is kind of like another STEM tour based on the same principle. And so we have a lot of things that we'll be doing, but they have the experience, over 50 years, almost 60 years here of experience. Staff on the ground, literally every day. We will go to a city, and we were in Germany and Berlin. We literally saw an EF building in Germany. And they were like, oh, wait, hey, that's the EF sign. Yep, boots on the ground. You won't find that on any other tour company. I haven't found it. I don't think it actually, if it does exist, it's nothing like EF. Plus, there's the 600 plus schools and offices. They're also not just a tour company. They are actually, they're accredited. You'll learn about some opportunities about earning high school and college credit. So Germany and Italy, of course, is on that list. So we have a lot of things that EF brings to the table for us. So just to give you an idea of who is involved in this, we have several campuses from Fort Bend, but also Sci-Fair, Katy, HISD. I know Conroe's in on, maybe not on this exact one, maybe it's a different time, but I know one of the other EF personnel is actually at another district with the same thing. So there's a lot of demand for this, and so there's this is definitely going to be a popular tour, and it's going to be a really great experience for your students. So I know that safety is on the top of everyone's mind, considering what climate we're in. So I want to address that up front. The first thing you should all know is that I've done my research and feel incredibly confident in partnering with EF. They have so many safety measures that I feel like if it were my kid going, I would feel very confident about working with EF and going with something that they've planned out. So EF has our back. They've thought through literally everything. They have not just boots on the ground, but they'll learn about like what our tour director does. We'll have other guides. There's all kinds of organization that they do behind the scene. If anything happens, literally they have our back. One of the best stories that I've ever heard was when COVID did hit. They literally out of their own pocket rushed everybody back to the States when things were shutting down. And EF did that literally on their dime. And I don't know of any other tour company that literally pulled out of pocket like they did, especially with thousands of students across in Europe. I mean, it was a lot to bring over, and the logistics of it, I don't even know how they pulled it off, but they did. So there's multiple programs in place that help us keep us all safe. And so EF is literally right there, boots on the ground in pretty much every city that we go to. If not, it's very, very short distance away. Bottom line, we're safer traveling with EF really than anyone else. So that's one of my main confidence and focuses here. So here's some other things that I want to share with you as well. So number one, EF is offering a few things to help us protect our investment. So traveling is definitely a big investment, and it'll give you confidence to book our traveling experience right now, while monthly payments are so affordable because it's so far out. Here are some of the ways that EF is protecting our investment. Number one is the Peace of Mind program. This has been one of their main staples. It's, if anything happens, not need to modify our dates for any reason beyond our control, for anything, we can do that. We did that with Japan, literally 2 years in a row. We were able to do that with the Peace of Mind program. The second one, the Global Travel Protection. This is custom designed travel protection unique to EF, provides both pre-tour and on-tour benefits. It's also built from the tour costs and built that, so basically everyone can experience, it's built into the tour cost. And so basically, this just covers your pre-tour and on-tour. This is where, if anything happens, and I'll show that on the next slide. Actually, I'll save it for the next slide. And then the last thing, risk-free enrollment period. This is new. This is awesome, and I know this has been something that when EF came out with this, I was very excited. Number one, it's risk-free. As it implies, you can cancel at any time for any reason up until February 1st, 2022. For a full refund. So it has to be before February 1st, 2022. Absolutely no risk up front, okay? So book with confidence, okay? So the Global Travel Protection Plan, it covers literally, it covers everything within reason. Now, a good reason would be for if you got ill or sick on the tour. EF will literally fly your parent out if needed. They have boots on the ground, they have support. Literally, it's all covered. A bad excuse would be to, I broke up with my girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other. I don't like them. I don't want to go on tour. Now, that's not what's included. But for more details, coverage, eftours.com/coverage is there for all the details. And if you want to look at that, okay. I'm still getting people in here. So, all right, so personal learning, like I said, EF is accredited. So whether you're thinking about it or not, this opportunity will be something that you will be able to use and reflect on for years to come. This great news is that this experience will be extremely educational. So just as you've heard from our team, we really look out for the students' best interest in their future careers in STEM and inspiring them. So students will be able to do a project around their tour experience. And if they want to, take it to the next level where they can earn free high school credit. So because EF is accredited, just like our school, you can earn college credit. So it's offered through a university, and it will transfer to UT, U of H. My students have actually done this, and they've done the college credit, and it transfers into UT. So it was really awesome. And then college application, the Uncommon app, is going to take it to even a further level. So it basically helps you write your essays and preparing for your college applications and really setting you apart. So this will really pull in and tie in everything you've done on tour and really help you pull out some of those key inspiring moments and put it into your college application. In fact, one of the things that I read a couple of years ago, EF partnered with Harvard and some Ivy League colleges, and they actually said, you know what really sets kids apart is, yeah, National Honor Society is great. Doing internships and doing all these things are great, but what really sets them apart is a very distinct, memorable experience that impacted their lives. I've had students literally use our trip and this study abroad aspect and this element into their college applications, and they've received scholarships and accepted in the universities because of that, flat out. So very, very cool stuff. So let's talk a little bit about Germany and Italy. First place we'll do is Munich. All right, so this is the part where you've been on the flight. So we go to the airport, your kids have been on the plane for hours and hours on end. It's like day 1 and 2, it literally feels like it's one day is 36 hours. All right, so when we fly in, it literally will be, we're all sleep deprived. It's just the excitement, the anticipation. We fly into Munich. We are going to hit the ground running. We do not wait. We actually do a walking tour of Munich day 1. This is very common. So we'll either do a walking tour usually on top of maybe another bus tour or something else, but we're going to get a full landscape of what Munich is about. So that's day 1. Day 2 in Munich, we'll continue sightseeing and we'll look at the Dutch's Museum and eat at a Brewhaus. Yes, we'll be looking at all kinds of cool tech, cars, airplanes, and looking at the museums. We'll also be looking at BMW. I know we have their headquarters, one of the past Olympic stadiums. A lot of cool stuff is in Munich. So there's a lot of tech that we're going to see in there. And then, of course, you can't go to Germany and not eat a German bratwurst. You can't do that. I did that pretty much first day when I went to Germany about 2-3 years ago. We did that. That was the first stop I made. So we're going to also make a stop at a Brewhaus. This is something, so it's very STEM focused on this tour, but we do infuse cultural. So we don't take that out because connecting with where you are at and maybe why some of that tech was innovation spurred on. One of the places we will be going to is a concentration camp for World War II. And it's, ironically, some of the automotive industry really came from World War II. And so some of the automobiles that were developed were directly out of this. So it's a connection to the student and, hey, this is a bad thing, and here's what happened as a result. But we also have other elements and other perspectives about this that, that just bring a more holistic, really more of a realistic approach as to what happened and why things were developed. And of course, we'll go to the BMW Museum, and Munich is also known for bike rides. I don't know if you knew that or not. So we'll actually take a bike ride tour in a way to actually slow down a little bit and check the landscape. Literally, look at the architecture, look at what's around us. So we can actually study the actual city. Okay. Now, one of the perks about doing something like this is that, yeah, technically, yeah, we're going to be in Germany, but we're going to technically touch over to Austria, and we'll be in the Austria Alps. So we'll probably stop there for lunch, maybe make a pit stop there, and essentially view the Swiss Alps, or I'm sorry, the Australian Alps. I was in the Swiss Alps the first time I was in the Alps, so Swiss is on my mind. So we'll be there for a brief moment because we have to go to Italy. So this is pretty cool. So we'll be in Bologna. So looking at where we're going to be and where we're traveling to. Yeah, we're going to cut through Australia to do this. So we are going to arrive in Bologna, and this is basically we're going to do pasta galore. I can't wait for the food that we're going to eat. Look, there's some things that bond humans. There's technology like this, and then there's food. So food is one of my things. I'm a big foodie. I don't know about you. So basically, we're gonna head over to Italy. We're gonna be in the Bologna area, and we're gonna check out some foods and get a feel for the area. And look, we're in another hot spot too for tech. Of course, we're gonna go eat, and then day 6, hopefully we're rejuvenated enough to go check out the Lamborghini Museum and factory. So some of the things that we talked about when EF literally asked us 100,000 questions about what would make an actual STEM tour be, not just memorable, not just a good tour, but something that is relatable and relevant for your students. And that is, hey, we want hard hat ready experiences that we are on the shop floor experiencing the tech, the automation, elements, manufacturing processes that are used in this technology. It's so one of the things that most places that you go to actually travel with that they don't have is the relationships and the network that EF has to actually, bring these to light. In other words, some of these places that we're going are usually off limits to tourists, and so basically we're getting into an area where it's not really open to most people, but because we're there to learn and EF's network, they have allowed us to do some of this. So we'll actually have a tour of some of these factories. And so, yes, we'll be inside another factory, the Italy tour. Very catchy, I know. So how it works is basically, this is, I guess the best way to describe this is culinary. It's like culinary galore, right? So you have all the cool foods. You can make your own. You're going to see how it all works. But basically, it's tasting and making your own food and learning how to be a chef. So it's pretty cool. So it's really, really cool. It's very interactive. And so, yeah, this is how they're going to create how they create food in Italy. I do have a video, very brief video.
Picture them 20 years from now, full of...
Y'all hear that, by the way?
We can hear it.
Yes, we can hear it.
Of life and ideas, all gripped by their dreams. They will have taken their first steps in a special place, Italy, a natural bridge in the middle of the Mediterranean, the country with the richest food heritage and biodiversity in the world. Over the centuries, this great food and wine treasure has been transformed by work and the knowledge of the great masters, and has now become a vital part of the Italian economy. A long history leaves an important mark. Experience transforms raw materials into excellence. The methods may change, but not the substance. The best way to create awareness and hand down learning about food and the environment. In the historic city of Bologna, also known as the Learned and the Fat, in a region of great culinary tradition and skills, an 80,000 square meter theme park is about to open. A real place where people cultivate and produce. A unique place, somewhere to encounter and experience the excellence of Italian food and wine producers through 40 workshops representing the entire evolution of the country's best production units. From the field to the fork, a production system that enables products to be traced from their origin, developed using a method that reinterprets tradition, and then sold in a large market. FICO is all that. FICO will also contain 25 restaurants, events, experiences of agriculture and animal husbandry practiced on site, rooms dedicated to learning the different crafts, all powered by Europe's largest roof-mounted solar energy system. FICO is also a new multimedia world where we will discover that one connection can spark a fire, creating others. That agriculture created a non-migratory society, so encouraging biodiversity, and that the history of humankind in the sea is determined by the struggle between man and fish. FICO is an arc, a framework for Italian quality for visitors from all over the world, a universe that creates jobs and passes on culture. People who learn a job build their identity and acquire the means to make their own choices. And we will be proud to supply them with the tools that enable them to choose wisely in the best possible way.
All right. So that's one of the places that we are going to check out. The other place that we're also going to check out is Bologna University. It's one of the oldest, it is recognized as the oldest university in the world. And so there's a lot of amazing things architecturally to really look at this and glean from. And so, so we're going to be there. There at the university, there's obviously 85,000 students, but the gallery area, you're going to love it. I think I have a slide here that shows kind of a quick snippet of it, but then we'll also travel to Milan afterwards and take a look at their cathedral, which is pretty cool. So the Milan Cathedral, I think I have another picture of that too later on. So we will also be at a National Museum of Science and Technology, participating in engineering theme activities. One of those places is Leonardo da Vinci. So there's actually an activity, and it's interactive, where you basically try to build this big cathedral and taking what he kind of came up with and tries to use basically static geometry in construction. So we obviously apply static geometry in engineering. So this is such a cool little activity that we get to do in Milan. And so, like I said, the other place here is, let's see here. It's the Galleria here. So yeah, I can't pronounce it. I looked at it, I was like, I forgot how to pronounce that. So sorry about that. But anyways, this place is huge, right? You actually will get to look off the balconies of some of these, some of the parts of this building, and it's really, really amazing. I looked at some of the pictures. I can't wait to actually go there. And so, and part of this is part of that Milan's Cathedral. And so this is a really old place, but it's really super cool. If you're looking at that top right picture, we're actually going to stand in that area. So just imagine standing in this giant area that was basically designed hundreds, technically, over thousands of years old. And so it's pretty cool that we're going to actually see this, and we actually get to look at some of the designs of this cathedral. So day 9, we start to wrap it up here. So one of the cool things, this is very exclusive to us. No one's done this on any other tour that I know of, and that's including a racetrack. That is completely Fort Bend. Thanks, y'all. So we've done a lot of talk again. Hey, so what can we do, to build more relevancy? Hey, we're going to take them to a racetrack. And so this is a pretty cool little track here. It's for Formula One. If you're into Formula One, if you don't know what Formula One is, they're really fast cars. And they are really cool. Formula One cars are a feat of engineering just to, not only just make them, but drive them and design tracks. And so we're going to go check that out. And what would, go to Italy, go all this way, we got to at least see if we can book something for theater or an opera. So there is an opera house pretty close by. And so we're going to go there and look and see. And now this is pending. Okay. So this really depends on when we go. Obviously we're a few years out. So 2023, we will check the availability on this and see what we come up with. But basically, we're going to try and squeeze in a theater, and this may determine when we go home or something. But we'll try and actually really try and get one of these operas or theater performances in while we're in Italy. Okay. Woo. That was an itinerary in a nutshell, y'all. So, all right. Let's talk about then what's actually included. The first thing that pops up is a $200 scholarship, by the way. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but yes, that is also part of this. So what's included? Pretty much everything. I've done a few of these tours already. I've traveled with EF before, and I've taken several students on these tours, and I'm telling you, everything on here is accurate. Round trip airfare, hotels, breakfast, dinner. Then there's other supports here for also planning for travel and the global travel protection plan. We'll even send you, EF will even send you travel gear. So backpacks usually, or a safety wristband, luggage tag. I have several of those floating around. So, I mean, they make sure that you're ready to go, hit the ground running. What you will need to cover though is lunch. And that's intentional because we like to explore the city quite a bit. So lunch is on the students because, we'll actually use that time to go check things out. Maybe there's a dish you want to try, or there's a shop that you want to go take home a bunch of souvenirs and you have an extra luggage bag for, so you want to go and get those items. So that gives you that time and freedom to do that. So spending money is the other thing, and passports, visas, and bag fees. So that's another thing, and tips. One thing I forgot to mention here too, by the way, one of the built-in supports is the tour guide. The tour guide, we have a tour guide boots on the ground person with us the entire time. They will get to know me. They'll get to know your students. They're our first contact, and they actually stay with us in the hotel. They stay with us on the bus all the way through. We also have, what was the other thing? Oh man, I lost. I had it. If it comes back, I'll bring it up. But basically, we have a tour guide. Oh yeah, chaperones. We have Fort Bend ISD chaperones that'll be there. So it's usually a 6-to-1. So it's we usually, our bases are covered. So if you think about it in terms of traveling with six kids per adult. So pretty good odds considering that I've traveled with far more for competitions. Usually I'm the only adult taking 30 kids on a school sponsored. This is not school sponsored, and they give me chaperones. It's great. It's probably one of the biggest and best things that I love about EF. Is they support the chaperones aspect of it. So Germany and Italy, making it happen. Okay, so this does include a $200 scholarship, and this is where I'm talking to a student. Hey, you know what? This is a great time for your high schooler to start thinking about, what can I do? Hey, can I mow some yards in the summer? Can I work a part-time job? Y'all, really speaking to the students here, 96 every other week, that's your number, okay? So 96 bi-weekly. Also monthly, you can break that down into that as well. So 192 a month. And so to get started with this, all you have to do then is really put down a $95 deposit, and you're enrolled and it's locked in. So the sooner you lock it in, the better. And the other part that I'd tell you too is you all have first dibs. We'll push an email out to open this up to all the other students in the campuses that did not attend here. So you do have the first dibs, and you'll see what I mean by that in just a second. But basically, it's affordable. And so, bringing it back here, so here's how you can help make it happen. Maybe you can mow yards, students, right? Pick up that extra side gig, and you can actually submit. There's a global citizen scholarship. Thousands of dollars go out to all these different travelers on a needs and merit-based scholarship. To be eligible, all you have to do is complete an application and submit a 2 to 3 minute video, and that can cover a good chunk, right? So, or at least a portion of it, help you out. And how this make a video on how this tour will change the way you think, feel, or act about the world. And so the 2022 Global Citizen Scholarship application will open, I believe, in it might be already open. Blair, that's a kind of a it might already be open, but if you want more details, I have a link here that I can't access. But there's a link for EF tours of the Global Citizen Scholarship that will be sent out. Actually, one of my students won it, and so that went towards her tour, and it literally came right off the balance. And so it does exist. It's real. So she won it, and it was great. It was a good help to that student. You can also use a donation page. Now, this is a lot different than a GoFundMe, because GoFundMe will take some of the proceeds and put it in their account, whereas 100% of your proceeds and donations will be directly applied to your balance. So that's the difference. But it's very customizable. Students, this is probably a good time to check out, hit up grandma for, early Christmas present, figure something out there. Or maybe a good time to get Facebook, because that's probably where all of your relatives that have any social media have is Facebook. So good time to start looking at that. And then obviously then another big chunk here is early enrollment discount. Received $200 discount applied before the deadline. Okay. All right, so here's what we're thinking. It is a 10-day tour. So our requested dates, target departure date is July 11th. However, the reason why we want a 4-day flex on each side, so we need to have that. And basically it gives us time to flex whenever, if on our preferred day or just, whatever's going to make it the most optimal day to go. And so we do need those 4 days, both on the earliest departure and on the arrival. So keep July 7th through the 24th open until basically we get closer to the tour. And you will know exactly when we would go, usually a few months before, and so I'll send out emails. Your teacher will send out emails, keeping you updated, and also be found on your EF account. All right, so recapping. Munich and the stadium, and traveling in Munich, going to the brew house and city bike rides in Munich, and literally eating Italian food. I am really gonna enjoy that. So, and oh yeah, here's the Milan Cathedral. This is pretty cool. So we get to actually be in here. That's pretty cool. I was really excited about that. So who's in? All right, so we have guaranteed 40 spots available. All you have to do is secure your spot with a $95 deposit. Remember the no risk enrollment for February 1st of 2022 apply. So all you have to do is sign up today. The deadline is Thursday, September 30th. All right, and you do have the $200 scholarship if you enroll by the deadline. That's a big help. And then also, let's just go on to the next slide here. Also, here are your respective campuses. Now I know there's a lot of campuses, so this is how you enroll. If you're Clements, woo, woo, right here. So you would enroll on this QR code. And so if you look at the icon, there's the logo. Dulles with Miss Matthews and Miss Robinson. It's the next QR code. Miss Edwards and Adams at Elkins. Dr. Ramon at Hightower, and then other Fort Bend ISD academies would be with Mr. Lamb here. So remember, the deadline is September 30th, and there are 40 spots. Just to give you an idea here, 93. Actually, there was 100 at one point. There was, I think, 102 people on this call, and 130 really actually signed up. And so keep that in mind. Those 40 spots will probably go pretty quick. So yes, so that is how you can sign up. And I'll leave this up for a few minutes here. And we do have one last thing. By the way, these QR codes will be sent out. So if you're thinking, well, if I don't get the picture now, will I get it later? Yes, you will get it later. So that's how you enroll. Now, I brought up Japan a couple of times, by the way. So just to throw this out there, there are literally, when I say a few spots, I really mean like small single digits. I'm talking like 2 or 3. This is for 2022. If your heart was set on Japan, let's say you're a senior or something, and you're like, well, I'm not going to be able to go to 2023, directly email me, myself, Mr. Humes, or you can scan the itinerary here. If you want to email me, I'll put my email in the chat. So you all can email me. That's a great question. So let me back up here for just, I'll get back to that. Can you go if you're only in the academy? No. So actually it's broken down per campus, and I'm gonna go back to that slide. So these are the campuses that are going. And if you attend one of these campuses, yes, absolutely. I've had other campuses that are not on this list join. For example, Ridgepoint. I have Ridgepoint kids going because they want to go and experience this life-changing event. So, so yes, you don't have to be in an academy. You can join.
So, Mr. Hume. So, Mr. Hume, what we have, what we try to do is we want to make sure that our academy kids, they do try to put them on the same trip, on the same bus. For Dulles, for example, we might have kids that they're not in the academy, so we might have to shift them to Miss Robinson, who's the robotics teacher there. So that's how we work it out. But usually we try to keep our academy kids together, though.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yes. So yes, Academy is their own little group, and thank you, Mr. Lamb, for clarifying that. Okay. I had to put my email in the chat. If you have any questions about really Japan, really is what I would say contact me for sure. And by the way, I am looking at the chat, and I will all of your questions will be I'll save the chat file and all the text, and I'll make sure I forward it to EF so they can answer all of your questions in case I missed some. So going back to Japan 22, if there's anyone, especially a senior who's not able to really go on a 23 tour, I do have a few spots open for you. Just thinking of really anybody, and I will open it to I will really open it to just about anyone who is really truly serious about it, because that is really almost full. And here's a few highlights. My favorite by far is Akihabara Electric Town. Yeah, we're going to Cyberdyne Studios. If you're thinking of the movies, it's close. It is biotech, but yes, we will do a lot of cool things in Japan. But I literally only have a few select spots. So if you're serious, obviously contact me. Yes, Ridgepoint can absolutely join. Ridgepoint, go ahead and actually, if you want to email me if it's Japan or the Germany-Italy tour, go ahead and use Clements. Basically, other campuses not listed, just go ahead and send them under Clements, and then we'll sort them out from there. And so, yeah, we'll do that. And also, please don't forget to use the sign-in form. There is a question in the sign-in form. I'll stick around for just a few minutes if you need the QR code. And I see the Dulles Academy question here. If you're in the Dulles Academy, do you sign up for the Dulles trip or the Academy? It would be the Academy with Mr. Lamb. So I can go back to that as well. But for those of you who need to take off, I hope you have a good dinner. Maybe eat some lasagna. 7 o'clock, and I nailed it. Wow, I got it right on time. If you need to go, please use the sign out form. If you want to stick around for a QR code, I'm happy to do that. That's a great question. I just got a question about, can adult families join? Yes. In fact, oh my gosh, this is a great opportunity to actually say this. I have I have 3 family units joining us on the Japan tour. I've had family units join us on previous tours. So yes, I would say leave it open to the kids first, and it really depends on how that teacher wants to run it. But technically, yes, adults may. And I may not get to all of your questions tonight simply because EF is going to be literally the expert on them. But I can certainly speak to a few of your questions. I think it's Latha. Yes. So how many years of the education tour has been happening through EF? Almost 60 years. And they have a lot of real estate in it. So it's pretty awesome. I've been doing these tours for over 5 years now, and I've been working closely with EF. So what is the qualifying criteria to receive more enrollment? I mean, it really just depends. We are capped at 40. We can talk about other numbers later on, but really and truly, given all the circumstances, we feel that 40 is a really great go-to number right now, just given everything. And can kids go to both Japan and Germany? Yeah, they're in different years. If you want to send your students to Japan 2022 and turn around and send them to 2023, absolutely. Just make sure that if it's an academy student, reach out to Mr. Lamb. If it's one of these teachers here that is doing Japan, reach out to them. If you're not sure, directly email me and I can point you in the right direction.
It's just a little correction on for the academy student right now. For academy tour, we want to give priority to our student only. I know in the past, my Japan tour 2022, I know some parents want to also join because we don't have enough room. We really want to open for student first, and it also give them experience to travel without without their parents. Just a different experience, as I say. But that's something that that might be a little different from campus to campus. So just check with your group leader. But for academy, we really want to have that experience where a student can't travel on their own. And I know definitely as a parent myself, you might not feel comfortable if you have a 15-year-old. That's why we also encourage you to think about maybe, if not 2023, if you have a freshman or sophomore, you want to wait until they're a little older and a little more mature, you definitely could do that too. Okay.
Yep. Thank you for clarifying that again, Donald. Yeah. So I'm not very familiar with the academy, so I'm glad that's a clarification point. So, yeah. So campuses, we typically group with campuses unless it's the academy. The academy really is their own group. But if you're going with, like, for example, me, you're going to be grouped with Clements. So Clements will be grouped with Clements. I do have some Ridgepoint going in with Clements, so that can happen, of course. So if there's an offering on your campus, I basically open my doors to students, and we'll figure out what needs to happen. But basically, if you want the opportunity, we're going to get you there. The waiting list, yes, we do have a waiting list if it does exceed 40, and it'll notify you as well if you've been placed on a waiting list. So that very much can happen. Okay. Yes. Yes, if you are a Ridgepoint student, go ahead and go to the Clements QR. It's a great question for a hotel. It depends. Europe is it's different. So I've been in some hotels in Europe where we could actually fit 4 students. Most of the time it's 2 or 3. So And given the conditions, that may change. So like I said, things have changed. Everything is paid through EF. I don't actually have to deal with money, thank goodness. So everything's paid through EF. EF takes care of us, and including that, and it's all interest-free, paying monthly. How long does it take the slots to fill up? Look, my Japan trip last, when I promoted it, filled up in one night. It really did. So it fills up quick, 40 slots. There's at least 100 people interested. And that's before before it's released to the entire campus. So I would say, I mean, if you need to think about it, don't think too long. So it can fill up, and like I said, you would be put on a waiting list. Okay. 7:06. Woo, my throat is dry. So if you have other questions, email me directly. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off the meeting, and I'm gonna click stop on this, on the recording. So y'all have a great night. If you have any other questions, please email me, or better yet, use that form, the sign up form for your question. Okay. Y'all have an excellent night. Take it easy, eat some food, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good night, everyone.